Hello. How goes? Today, we got a best of 9 versus Flying Taco. One of the Warhammer 2 legends. Has played Warhammer longer than even myself. I've been playing for like, what, 5-7 years? And we're going to be playing a casual best of 9. So, because Flying Taco is kind of on a time crunch, we want to get as many games in as possible. So, we're just going to do a basic pick and counter pick type of system. And we're not going to filthy counter pick each other, you know? Like, if he plays Ogres, I'm not going to play Tomb Kings. That kind of stuff. Man, a lot of old names, though. Alfredino, Berserk, True Plutonian, Ice Power, Total War, Aerocrastic. Aerocrastic was more of a Warhammer 1 OG. Warhammer 1 and early Warhammer 2. But yeah. I'm pretty excited. Flying Taco has been making a little bit more of a comeback recently. He's been playing in a lot of events. So maybe he's interested to make another big splash. I wish I could grab a hold of Falcon or what have you, but unless they actually start playing tournaments again, it'll be a little more difficult. But Flying Taco is a beast. He played some Ogre Kingdoms when Warhammer 3 came out, but then retired shortly after. And he played a lot of Lizardmen back in the day. So Flying Taco was primarily a Lizardmen player. But yeah, it should be fun. We're starting off with me playing Vampire Counts. And he is going to get to counterpick me. Should be pretty fun. Then we'll just keep swapping until the end of this. Has he been practicing? This is part of his practice, but he has played a couple tournaments. So he's kind of in the up-and-coming category currently. Much excitement indeed. In other exciting news, my video is doing pretty well. 15,000 views already. The A/B testing for YouTube is pretty good. So you basically send 3 thumbnails and 3 titles, and then it figures out which one is the best. There's actually a pretty huge spike for this video. Dang. Dang. The one that won out was this greenskin speedrun is simply OP. That's some classy clickbait right there. Classy clickbait. I had a good sense of that one. Felt like it would be pretty nice. Though we'll see if the video really takes off. If it can get into like, if it gets to 30,000, I'm very happy. If it gets any more, my mind is blown. But we may have a series on our hands. Yeah, tell Flying Taco that Flaming Sword is OP now. Man, yo, I'm so ready for this patch. Oh boy. I do know that CA, they have gotten my feedback. So like, you know, where's it at? Where is it at? I had a list. Where is it? Wait, where is that list? And loss. That's that. It's challenges. Ah, here we go. Yeah, this list. So like over the past few months, I've been spamming CA to try and get them to fix all this stuff. And they've gotten it. They've gotten the list. If they actually addressed a lot of these issues in the next patch, that would be mind-blowing. It would get Warhammer 2 up to where Warhammer 3 was in terms of unit control. At least that's what I'm hoping for. Or better. Like, if they implement this, it will be better than Warhammer 2. Ooh, I just hope that it's important enough for them to be for them to feel like it's worth fixing. I'm really exploiting the fact that Legend of Total War kind of kickstarted the whole review bombing process, and a bunch of frustrated gamers gave their reviews, made their voices heard. So if CA actually are worried about that and they fix this, holy crap, it would be so hype. It will, yeah, we'll have to see though. We'll have to see. One more month, people. Good evening, Decay, what's up? Aerocrastic was in the last faction war? Was he? I feel like he wasn't. Flying Taco should be here soon, by the way. Hashtag buff Chaos Knights. Yeah, Chaos Knights. I don't want like all Chaos factions to be spamming Chaos Knights, but they should at least be a rough, you know, a rough staple anytime they need cavalry. So just like a little bit. It's a little cheaper. I'll spam that till they buff them once per stream. So will be it. They're one of the units that I believe I asked CA to buff. But we'll see. They've been cooking this patch for a while, man. And it's not like One Punch Man Season 3. Anyone else catch a glimpse of that? Bro, people are mad. People waited 6 years. You think CA is slow with updates? 6 years and the animation's garbage. Mostly because they didn't start production on it until really late, and then the poor animators are being rushed. But from a viewer standpoint, ooh, oh my god, terrible. All right. Best of 9 versus Flying Taco. Yeah, you can see it in the top middle. But yeah, we'll see. CA's been cooking this patch for, or at least this update. It's been over a year, okay? It's been over 1 year. Fingers crossed. They even changed some canon events to save on animation costs. Yeah, One Punch Man 3, you know, makes me appreciate CA, if only a smidge more. It makes me realize it can be worse. Imagine CA release. I think the only thing that could be worse is if they release Warhammer 40k Total War and it sucks. Like, if they release it and it's just terrible, and then they stop development on it, then it'd be worse than One Punch Man Season 3. But usually CA, they release a garbage product and then they refine it over the course of many years. It gets into a beautiful state. Gets into a beautiful state and then they release the next garbage product. That's usually how they do it. Tomb Kings. All right. So Flying Taco's Mad Lad. In general, we kind of like this matchup, right? Tomb Kings are, generally speaking, quite chumpy. So yeah, if I just, get a little bit of this in, a little bit of this, summon a zombie at the start. We have dogs, we got ghouls. Do I need anything else for Tomb Kings? Could use a couple Fell Bats if he does go for the catapults. Do I need a Mortis engine? Just in case. Alright. Rapturous Expanse. Let's go. If Flying Taco beats me here, that'd be crazy. Oh boy. And then after this, he picks a faction. And then I counterpick. How fun. Don't you normally like Graveguard? I do, but I've kind of been enjoying this main tidy vampire count style a bit more. Especially with Graveguard losing against Grand Cathay. They're grindy, but it feels like they have too many counters. I feel safer spamming the chaff. You don't care for 40k? Honestly, you prefer Fantasy and Age of Sigmar? Dang. I think a lot of people... I think 40k might be off-putting to some. But a lot of people have their eye on 40k. And it would probably bring in a pretty big market. But hey, why not all of it? Why don't they just continue support for Warhammer 3? Get 40k going. Print some money, And then we're good to go. What would the 40k war map even look like? So, like, I think if they do 40k, they have to revolutionize a couple things. If they don't, it's just gonna be a little lackluster. Now, they could make it take place on a planet, maybe. But adding in all the factions would be a bit weird. I kind of feel like, though, you could do 40k Total War, where, like, like you can kind of see a rough gameplay loop where instead of like continents and oceans, you have planets and space, right? Now, making that actually like fit thematically, I'll leave that up to the art directors, but roughly, like, you have a pretty good gameplay situation. The planets can be fairly large maps. Yeah. But we'll have to see. It will have to be quite inspired. You can't just copy paste. You can't just copy paste the normal Total War formula. You have to change it up quite a bit, which makes me feel like Age of Sigmar would be more likely. But 40k has to print money. Anyways, Age of Sigmar would be an easier product to make because it's basically just fantasy. They just have to port over Warhammer 3. The one big thing, though, I swear to God, if they port over, like, let's say they do fix all of the AI issues, the line of sight, the everything. If they fix that, but they do the same thing that they did with Warhammer 2, and they poured over the broken version of Warhammer 3 for their next game, holy crap, that's gonna be so annoying. Because I'm pretty sure that's what happened with Warhammer 3. Like they got the less polished version of Warhammer 2 into Warhammer 3. So then they just had to fix the same things over and over again. Either that or they tried to change some of the mechanics and then it broke things. Whatever they did, they better not do it for the new game. Alright, anyways. He's ready. 11 units. If they just make it a single planet conquest, I feel like that'll be in a crowded space with Dawn of War and Gladius. Yeah. I don't know exactly how that works out in the end, but yeah, they'll have to be careful. We'll leave it up to CA. Now, Flying Taco has opted for the Bone Daddy. We are seeing a Bone Giant. Naturally, the best option is to hide in the trees. He does have a couple archers, but with your Shopty, you guys know the drill. You know the drill. We've been here 1,000 times. All I gotta do is march forwards and rely on my army being essentially unkillable. Then I'll Wind of Death some of his guys. Is this Flying Taco? I would expect him to be able to dodge something so simple as a Wind of Death. But yeah, this should be relatively chill. White Kings have taken just a smidge of damage, but I ain't too worried, because looky here, we have doggos. And the doggos should do pretty well. Double Scab Scrath on the Skeleton Warriors. Goodbye, Skeleton Warriors. That's going to waste his passive, which is an army-wide heal. It's not going to heal that much when the rest of his army is already at full HP. There it goes. Getting triggered. Then we're just going to ignore his little summon here. Kemmler's going to get in the cookie jar. And then against a couple Tomb Guard, I don't think we have to worry. Because, wow! Wind of Death! Oh, I finally fired my own skeletons. Should have seen that one coming. Minor misplays aside, I believe we're still in a fairly good position. As long as Kemmler doesn't get sniped into oblivion. The dogs are doing pretty well. They'll hopefully distract stuff like these the Acropolis Knights and such. We do have a fairly decent triple cap going on here. We'll see how his Ushapti Great Bow actually do. He is gonna kill a White King though. Most unfortunate. But generally the DPS should be too low here, right? I just have to save up another Wind of Death for the little Kepler guard here, and we'll be okay. But like, look at the archers, right? The archers are they're on the verge of crumbling right now. I guess he is technically up trading. Kemmler's in just a little bit of a spooky position. He'll have to run away. But with his super expensive archers crumbling down, I think we'll be totally fine. And even the Kepler guard I should be able to basically ignore for the time being. In fact, most of his stuff we can basically ignore. Just got to make sure he doesn't go for the flank points. Then I think we'll be good. I have put Kemmler in just a little bit of an awkward situation, but should not realistically be a big deal. Should be able to get a fairly nice winds of death there. Those are Nahakar horsemen that we're gonna have to deal with, but I think we'll be fine because I got the double doggo. And they should counter them fairly well. I really just have to keep Kemmler alive at this point. Maintain my fairly large army. And then we'll be okay. I will say it's a little sus. With yeah, we actually moving off of these points just a little bit. But I believe we'll be okay, as my main army is actually doing fairly well versus. There's not too many guys left alive on this side. The doggos. The doggos are amazing. They're cooking pretty hard. Kemmler's gonna hide behind a pillar for the rest of the game. What's not to love? Do gotta kill off these Nahakar horsemen though. And he may actually get the middle point if I'm not careful. Let's actually see. It looks like I'll have just enough to capture it. Plus we're still healing, of course, with all of our corpse cards. Archon the Black will likely kill Kemmler though. One of my units has been destroyed. You mean my lord, Mr. Advisor, sir? It's fine. We'll be fine with that. Because the doggos are cooking. The middle point is pretty secured. Point number 3 is pretty good. Flying Talker will have about 3 minutes to kill off the rest of my army. But it really doesn't look like he'll have enough. I really do want to get some Blood Knights, but can't really afford them right now. I do think they will be a really solid late game cleanup tool though. One of your units has been destroyed. So we will get there eventually. Dang, look at the dogs though. These dogs are my new favorite Vampire Counts unit. They're just so insanely good at clearing off points and all that. I don't want Kemmler or the Blood Knights. I feel like I've been saving up for the Blood Knights. I'm gonna go for the Kemmler though. He just feels a little safer because he'll stop a lot of my guys from crumbling. But anyways, yeah. For the umpteenth time, indeed, Vampire Counts are good against Tomb Kings. I don't think I've lost this match in a while, nor has it ever actually felt really close. We tend to end these games on a triple cap against the Tomb Kings, with them having basically no tickets. Like, they don't even get to the point where, you know, what kind of tussling to try and, you know, holding down on the last point and all that. We don't even get close to that. Maybe I get a little close to getting army wipe, but usually one Winds of Death gets there. And yeah, the point lead. Point lead's a little too spicy now. This corpse cart's been healing for the entire battle. And it's actually pretty crazy how good my one dog unit did against his archers. I'm actually pretty surprised that they were able to just trade into them. Kepler Guard 2 were not especially crazy.
I knew it. Unending glory is
And that's going to be game number 1. Which is a win for us. Flying Taco gets to pick the next faction, and then we counterpick. Bone Giant was kind of sad. Didn't get a lot of value. Kepler Guard even died relatively quickly. You can see how bad Ushapti here are, by the way. At only 600 value, that's really low. Because everything's healing too, so you would want to get more than the cost you pay. And Ushapti costs 1,100. Kind of ludicrous. The White King that died, I guess he didn't get that much value, but he did have to get focus fired, which bought me a lot of time. Yeah. I'd say don't play this matchup. Don't play this matchup on the Tomb King side. Now he'll go Lizardmen. I'll go Slaanesh. Ban. Do I want to play Rise? Ban Norska and Rise. This should be pretty fun. Slaanesh versus Lizardmen. Oh, okay, so this is actually the build that I had. This is a good build. I think going ultra wide on the Forsaken's not bad. I'll have a lot of fiends. Yeah, I don't really like not having Pendulum. The Chaos Knight's kind of crazy too. Yeah, let's update this. Let's update this build a smidge. And then I think we're good to go. We just want to get a devastating rush. Actually, okay. Can get a Seeker there. Man, Fiends are just too good though, right? Yeah, I like this build way more. I like this one way, way more. Reason being, I don't have to save up so much for these guys. Yeah, so this should be interesting. He wants to play in Brave Alley. This map should be pretty decent for us, huh? As long as we can actually complete a decent rush, I'm happy. I'm just hoping he has too many skirmishers and we can do the classic Slaanesh thing. A lot of people say this is slightly Lizardman favored, but I'm trying to get a little bit more comfortable here so that I don't get counterpicked. Would Chaos Knights be okay with Glorious Charge? Dude, everything would be good with Glorious Charge. The only thing that wouldn't be good with Glorious Charge is a Bloated Corpse. Everything else, though, I think would become probably OP. Like, you give Glorious Charge to a Hydra, I'm sure it'd be pretty good. I guess maybe some Archer units would be a bit worse, but even they could countercharge Cav. And route them off, maybe. Bro, Skaven slaves with glorious charge would be OP. Are you kidding me? Like every unit in your army is getting gloriously charged. Your whole army just has a minus what, 8 leadership debuff the whole game? Okay, yeah. Firestone rocket battery with glorious charge. It would actually still be a good buff because if cavalry charges them, you counter charge. And then you can rout off the cav. Pretty OP, I would say. Maybe not crazy OP, but... Yeah, they should give the Bloated Corpse glorious charge and devastating flanker. For the memes. Give it to Peasant Spearman, but not Phoenix Guard. Oh yeah, I saw that discussion. Yeah, kind of crazy. Oh. There's a bot spamming my Discord. Remove all their messages. All right. There's a spam bot on my Discord. If you want to go to my Discord, though, description is the way to go. All right. Ready? Good luck. Have fun. So as long as he doesn't hyperbox it, this Slaanesh build should be pretty good. If he does hyperbox it, I just capture all the points. But if he has even one range unit, in theory, I can just walk in and kill him. First summon's probably going to be a Forsaken. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so he has a Dreadsorian. So this type of Lizardmen build, we can absolutely bully. I just have to be a little careful about the Dreadsorian. But time is of the essence. We only get more ahead, or we only get more and more behind as he summons in units. So we must push in aggressively. First charge against the Skink Skirmishers goes pretty well. We catch yet another Skink Skirmisher on the advance. I'm then going to ignore his crap. Miscast the Pendulum. I guess it still actually kind of goes okay. But yeah, I'm just gonna ignore the Saurus for a little bit so that we can kind of bully everything else. And then as long as we push in here with the utmost aggression, life should generally be chill. He summons in some cavalry, but Furies are the natural counter over there. A couple Skirms are getting bullied too. And the Shredder of Lust is just not getting a lot of... Yeah, it's just not really getting a lot of picks. I think our opponent may have gone Slaaneshed. Yeah, this is starting to look pretty devastating. Gotta remember, Forsaken also have they also have devastating flanker. So when you fully surround Saurus like this, it's pretty brutal. Essentially, all I gotta do now is wait for his next cav summon. And then he's pretty done for. Long as my lord doesn't die here, we're relatively happy. Furies are going to be able to rout off these fools over here. Nice. And then as long as we don't blob out too hard for Mazdamundi's spells, I believe victory shall be ours. I can even bring in a we're out of horsemen here, perhaps. To yeah, to bully that there shredder. So there's the cav summon. The question is, will they be able to do anything? Get Slaanesh. Yeah, so we're just gonna net them down, get them killed. And that is yet another cav unit that we get free. That's the crazy thing about Slaanesh. As long as you take the early fight well enough, if your opponent's kind of going for cav summons, you can generally just kill them. Oh, this is glorious. It actually summoned a skirmisher. What a mad lad. Summoning skirmishers against Slaanesh. Alright, yeah. So I'll just give them the dread right click of doom. That's gonna kill off yet another unit. And we've saved the best for last.
One of your units has been destroyed.
The Shredder of Lustria. I should be able to bully. He also summons in a red crested skink that gets terror outed on summon. Holy crap. That's unfortunate. How'd that even happen? That red crested skink. It's just like, why have you summoned us? Straight 0 value red crested skink. Please. Please, I implore you to summon more units onto the battlefield. Is this what an unfavored matchup looks like for Slaanesh? Apparently so. Yeah, I think when I was playing against Boss Toss, I kind of got cold feet on the rush, and I let him kite me to death. It turns out the only thing you need with Slaanesh is good cavalry micro and a little bit of confidence. If you do that, I don't think there's a whole lot that can be done. There goes another skink. Another one bites the dust. Yo, that net though is lasting a very long time. But easy way to get the bullying on. As long as Mazdamundi hasn't cast his yet, we can rampage Mazdamundi and get a pretty nice snipe. The Shredder of Lustria can't easily be microed here to retarget my lord because it's getting rampaged. And then if we can just get the Mazdamundi kill, then I can be a happy person. There we go. Mazdamundi is down for the count. And that means realistically, I just have to deal with the Shredder now. Because Mazdamundi is absolutely going to get routed off. Lord's going to tear out another skink cohort. Hopefully we get a rout on these Cold One Riders. Turns out Slaanesh really doesn't give a crap about these guys when you have your army abilities. And there we go. The Mazdamundi. He's off the table. I do think if he had Sacred Croxagores, it would have the same threat level as the Shredder of Lustria. But it would be a lot cheaper, so you could actually take other units. But yeah, if you take too many skinks against Slaanesh, I'm pretty sure you get run over. And this is a great time to hammer into the Shredder, because it's suffering from that Lord Loss penalty. So it should be fairly routable. Then we get the melee defense reduction. We charge with these Marauder Horsemen, who actually do have devastating flanker. And that should also... should also break those guys. All right. Nice. Flying Taco did say that he doesn't have a lot of time. So we're gonna whip out the ultra tryhard. Yeah, Forsaken just really crushed it. And if you have skirmishers, it just doesn't go well. Now, his Shredder did get a lot of value, but absolutely everything else suffered because of it. So did it really pay for itself? Questionable. Very questionable. We'll go Norska next. Norska is also amongst my top tier factions. So we've played Slaanesh. We played Vampire Counts. I think Norska with some Berserker plays should be able to get some pretty good work done. I also still gotta play Ogres and Wood Elves. I think Wood Elves will be a really fun counter pick. What are your top tier factions? Basically the ones I'm playing. But my personal ones are Slaanesh, Norska, Ogres, Wood Elves, Coast, and Vampire Counts. I'm also happy to play High Elves, Chaos, and Empire. And I'll also play Grand Cathay, Kislev, Tomb King, Tzeentch, Betonia, Beastmen, if I absolutely have to. Playing all these challenges has given me quite the insane list. It's given me quite an insane list of factions. So, feeling pretty comfortable. Cough, cough. I think he likes the entire game. No! Screw Nurgle and Skaven, man. I hate those guys. And Demons of Chaos. Screw all of those guys. Aside from those three, I'll play basically anything else. Jeez. Skaven? Skaven, Nurgle, and Demons are so bad. They're so bad, man. Never again. Alright, he's going Empire. I think Proving Grounds is bad, right? Interesting. So Empire likes to spam a lot of range. That actually makes me quite interested to see how a Norskan Fimir shenanigan replay can actually work out. Because like, what if I just take a lot of Fimir and a lot of Berserkers, right? Shouldn't that be pretty decent? I can even use the Scroll of Shielding to make the Fimir even more indestructible. And then I just spam infantry. Use some Manticores maybe to get some terror outs. And then if he takes cavalry, who cares? Empire cavalry is pretty weak sauce, right? Yeah, this should be pretty good. Alright, let's do it. Can you play Skaven like you play Vampire Coast? Absolutely not, because they rout. A Vampire Coast zombie will take like a minute to kill. A Skaven clan rat takes 2 seconds for a good cav unit to rout them off. Night and day difference, man. It's about that longevity that makes Vampire Coast so good. You want to get into RTS? Is Warhammer 3 good for it? Or better start with classic ones like StarCraft? It really depends on what you're looking for. Like, what type of RTS do you want to play? StarCraft and Warhammer are essentially different games. Like, they're more different. They're more different than, like, CSGO and Overwatch, right? Like, you wouldn't play CSGO to get better at Overwatch. They're just really different games.
One game, if at all possible.
One Tzeentch game? Sure. Maybe I'll Tzeentch counterpick next. But, yeah. I would say just pick the one that you enjoy more. If you like strategy games, right, then you can play both, you know? Like, I play Warhammer. I like to dabble in chess. I played StarCraft before. All of them will generally train your mind to be better at strategy. So yeah, just kind of pick one. Warhammer 3, though, I would say, will get you the least general knowledge. Because it's not really designed to be a hyper-competitive multiplayer game. It's more of like a sandbox 5x strategy game. You're thinking more about like grand strategy more than local strategy. But if that's what you like, if you like grand strategy, play Warhammer. If you really want like some sweaty multiplayer action, StarCraft is good if you're a casual player. Warhammer is actually pretty nice if you're in the niche of players who want to go quite hardcore. You like interacting with people on Discord, then I would recommend Warhammer. But definitely, if you just play quick battle on Warhammer, it can get old pretty fast. But most people, when it starts getting old, they transition to the tournament scene. So, yeah. While convoluted, there's definitely a path there. You got options. Alright, ready, good luck, everyone. So we're playing Norska. I'm gonna capture the points. We're gonna rush his face down. Fimir are basically indestructible to anything that isn't extreme armor piercing ranged. I'm gonna spam a whack load of infantry most likely, unless he has a build that makes me uncomfortable, like this one. Is that a land ship? All right. So, the land ship is basically a mega war wagon. To counter it, you kind of use the same strats that you would against a war wagon. Now, he does have an arch lector. He has Grand Soulfire. Flying Taco is always known for taking some pretty crazy builds. Royal Altdorf Griffites too. There'll be a little bit of a menace, but I do see a bit of an opening here. I believe, yeah, if I summon a Manticore and use it to bully the Griffites, I think we'll be in an okay position. And then I should be able to hard push his formation here, and we should be relatively okay. Most of his cavalry is actually going to be slightly out of position right now. Double Manticore. They should be able to get in there and cook pretty hard. Fimir have a rather ludicrous amount of missile resist, but only if their leadership is good. So you actually got a decent amount of a leadership hit there, which is not exactly the most comfortable thing. I think we're finally going to pop that Scroll of Shielding on them too, just to keep them nice and comfortable. Wolfric's gonna make the big loop-de-loop. And then if I can kill off his Griffites, we're pretty happy. They technically counter the Manticores in a vacuum, but this is far from a vacuum. We have infantry support and Fimir support. So I should be able to bully them pretty good. Norska has some of the best wind spells in the game with Burning Head and Wolfric's Boat. Gonna get some pretty massive damage in there. And then, yeah, even though my Fimir do a terror out, they should be able to rally. And with that, I'm able to start pushing in. And I think I'm gonna play for value. So actually summoning in the Ice Wolves there was maybe a little bit of a misplay. But it looks like not the most comfortable of positions here. The Fimir, they have rallied. I just need their leadership to stick around a bit. But the double Manticore action is going pretty hard over here. And his long rifles. His long rifles are stuck, getting sent into the distance. Not exactly the most comfortable position for those guys. Might even get a charge on his Reiksguard here. He does barely get the counter charge. But I think my Ice Wolves is still generally pretty good. Normal dogs are really good in these types of situations because they can force him to leave a cavalry there in the back to try and defend his lines. And so far, not terrible. He actually summoned a unit here that won't be able to do too much. Just capturing a point, but we're here playing for value, which is an entirely different game. I just need some way of killing off these Griffites. He's actually defended them rather well, all things considered. But their time will be coming soon. Especially now that we have the healing dead. I really want to get capture points, but I'm pretty sure value is the most important thing here. Playing for points is only really useful when you get into a more late game situation where both armies are relatively large. But both armies are quite small here. So the person who army wipes the other guy is just gonna win, right? It's not like he has a way of prolonging this game anymore than it has gone for. So I'm just gonna accept the fact that, yeah, he's gonna get that capture point. But hey, he's 450 gold down with that free company militia. That should be a relatively comfortable situation for us. Plus his boat. The superior boat faction. We should be able to bog that bad boy down. And you know what else trades up really well? I believe our Skin Wolves. Skin Wolves should be able to do pretty well here. They're just a solid unit. They got that healing, they got the regeneration. That should keep them in the fight pretty well. Flying Taco has kited me back into his backfield though. So value plays are actually his to get. But in the end, a dead land ship will certainly be bad for him. Though he does rout off my infantry there. Flying Taco. He is making it a little difficult. I think it probably makes more sense to capture the points now. Now that we're actually looking to down trade slightly in this particular circumstance. He did bring back the Life Wizard, which means that darn boat is actually going to be able to survive here. And yeah, maybe I shouldn't have chased it so aggressively into this backfield. Because, yeah, if I lose Wolfric and the double Manticore here, that could very well lose us the game. I will be able to get a decent pick here. The Soulfire isn't going to do too much damage. That's actually a few routes. The problem is, too, I don't really have a safe way to disengage from this situation. Because Wulfric's kind of stuck. My caster's bullied. But we can now play for points, and I do have a lot of skin wolves. I think as long as Wulfric doesn't die to a bunch of Griffites, I think I should be able to uptrade once we get our opponent to try and resecure points. Because retreating this far back, it is going to put him in a little bit of an awkward position. But yeah, I'm really wishing I had just not chased the boats, not tried to catch the long rifles. This is gonna be a little bit sketchy. The land ship has 2,000 value, but he is triple capped, and he's gonna have to get some of these points back sometime soon. And the skin wolves, they're definitely gonna make it a little bit of an awkward situation. Plus, we did manage to catch a lord. That's pretty good. Skin wolves are like the ultimate in farming value here. I just wish Wulfric would stick around a little longer. He's actually on his way to getting terror routed, if not full routed. And if he gets chased off the map, I would be in a terrible situation. Thankfully, he does manage a fairly decent disengage. We are able to use the hill to line aside my opponent, and we are starting to push him into at least a little bit of an awkward situation, right? I just have to not overextend too badly into his backfield. This backfield dive is really not doing me any favors. Those are Knights of the Blazing Sun too, which are particularly good versus my guys here. He does capture this far point. 2 Knights of the Blazing Sun charge in, but we are disengaging, so I'll be relatively safe here. And maybe we can contest this far point. I can basically disengage most of the time and take more favorable fights while contesting the points, and that should, in theory, put me in a relatively good position. But his Knights of the Blazing Sun actually dumpstered my skin wolves. Not a particularly great thing to see. But once again, we are getting into position to potentially snipe his lord. And if that guy goes down, I guess the position can't be absolutely terrible, right? Gonna get a pretty decent wolf charge in here too. Look at his lord getting beat up pretty hard. We can resummon the manticore here. That's pretty nice. Come on, just kill that lord. His berserkers are pretty well charged up too. Actually a pretty pitched battle. Flying Taco with the crazy builds making us sweat a little bit. But yeah, look at that. With these skin wolves rallying, they're just gonna regenerate for a long while, and they should be able to do pretty well. Plus his lord is dead, and the Griffites are finally down. He was really trying to defend this capture point, and he kind of had to. If he lost it, he'd be put on some extreme time pressure. But I think that awkward position, that one awkward position, it shall be enough for us to pull out a victory. Though he does get a pretty nice charge there, all things considered. I will at least be able to contest this point. We are getting fairly close as far as tickets are concerned, so that should force him into more bad engagements, like for example fighting these berserkers. That'll go pretty well. And then as long as Wulfric doesn't drop the ball here, I think we're okay. Come on, Wulfric. Does he have ITP? Maybe it's Berserker Rage. I don't know. Wolfric barely holding on here. Thank goodness for Wolfric, but my goodness. That does actually make the game rather spooky. Plus, he has a free company militia here. We're gonna need to bully him. Wolfric. Unfortunately, he kind of suffers there. Middle fight is still going pretty well, though. And with his lord routed off, at least we can potentially chase him off the map now. And then I defend this point. Should be pretty easy to kill off these free company. And yeah, he is going to contest the point. But Wolfric's going to be back. We're fine. Yeah, I can't believe Wolfric died to a boat, though. Of all things to die to, the boat? You kidding me? At the very least, though, Empire really do need... They really do need to be consolidated to get value. I would expect the value trading to start going down for my opponent very soon. I'll have a Manticore to fight off those Knights of the Blazing Sun. Long as Wolfric doesn't get absolutely taken to Pound Town there. He has Outrider grenade launchers. All right. Couple Outrider grenade launchers to bully my Berserkers. I was not expecting that. It's a pretty crazy kite build, but with the Lord routed off and the second point re-secured, plus just a whack load of Skin Wolves to regenerate, we're still fairly comfortable here. Manticore gets the route on the far side. Yeah. We should be fine. In the end, I think these free company militia summons, they actually made him downtrade pretty hard. And that should be fairly awkward. Plus these Outrider grenade launchers, they can't really get too much done. Now that I have my mobility here. The boat should not be able to win here. Somehow this Fimir Bale Fiend took 50 years to come back. But he's back. That's the only thing that matters to me. There go the long rifles. And then we go for the grenade launchers. And then we're good to go. Kind of a terrifying build, though. He actually almost brought it back, but I should be able to capture this far point. As long as I don't lose all my Skin Wolves here, I'm happy. Unfortunately, we did lose all our Skin Wolves here. So naturally, we are slightly unhappy. This is going to come down to the wire, isn't it? He doesn't have a lot to secure this point, though. And I'm going to retake this one. There's no way he defends this. Wolfric and the dog should be able to capture it pretty fast. Plus, I have some Skin Wolves there. And then he has to play on 3 points, right? So, being able to contest a little bit here will force his army to be unable to defend this. And then victory! Victory shall be ours. Sneaky free company snipes, though. Pretty crazy. Definitely my biggest misplays here was over diving. It turns out we're not Slaanesh. I can't just play in my opponent's backfield. What a shame. Capture point's gonna be good for us. We should definitely be able to kill off those guys there. And then we just have to hold out here for just a wee smidge of time, right? Ain't no way Wolfric's gonna die here either. And there we go. Burning Head is ultra effective versus free company, by the way. That's why I pulled back the dogs, because I knew it was going to kill them. Actually, didn't expect it to shatter them, but I'll take it. And Wolfric gets routed off, but we barely hold. Very nice. Very, very nice. GG. I'll go Tzeentch next. Whew. Yeah, look at that land ship value. He actually got 3,400. I forgot that Flying Taco is kind of famous for making these things work. I saw the land ship and I'm like, oh yeah, it's a meme unit, we'll be fine. And then it kind of cooked me. He also somehow defended the long rifles in a big rush. But at the end of the day, I think Norska's just a bit favored. I am a little surprised at how badly the Fimir did. I guess the leadership reduction from the Terror and the Demogryph Knight charges was just a bit too much. I honestly thought they would kind of crush the Demogryph Knights, but he kind of proved me wrong, keeping them extremely safe. Fun match. Also, Knights of the Blazing Sun. Oddly terrifying versus Skinwolves, who would have guessed? But yeah, next up, as requested, a Tzeentch game. Oh my god. Losing to a boat, though. Insane. I feel like 2 feral Carnosaurs would outperform a Dread Saurian. They don't have as much of a leadership disruption, and they can't clear infantry as well. So technically, if your opponent goes man-tied, it can be a little sus. But yeah, double feral Carnosaur sounds pretty scary. Though you might get capped by the number of single entities you can take. You can only take 3 big SEs. But I think in his build he could have. At the end of the day though, I think it was the Skinks that kind of screwed him against Slaanesh. Okay, we gotta help Flying Taco. There we go. He's having a hard time disabling full screen. It's actually not called disable full screen. It's called run in window. Which is a little strange, but there you go. Wolfric actually killing a lord. Yeah, his lack of armor piercing kind of sucks. But yeah, so far things are going pretty well. These matches against Flying Taco, fairly comfortable. I think my Norska play could be tuned up a little bit. But let's be honest, I'll likely just be playing Slaanesh, Wood Elves, Counts, and Coast. So far, so good, though. Don't Knights of the Blazing Sun get like a 30% bonus for against Skinwolves? I think it's a 20% bonus. Which admittedly is pretty good, considering it's a permanent bonus. You don't have to spend Winds of Magic to use it. Yeah. Generally speaking, fire damage is good versus Norska, just because it shuts down their Skinwolves. But usually you don't want to spam fire damage, because they use Ice Wolves a lot of the time. Was that last Burning Head Overcast? Yeah, against the Free Company. Free Company have really low HP per entity. So a normal infantry unit like Swordsmen will have 69 HP. I think the Free Company are in like the 50 HP range. Like they're at 56 or something. So they just get dumpstered by magic. Like Pink Fire and all that is crazy. But yeah, apparently clicking run in window did not change his full screen settings. So I don't know, man. A little bit of Warhammer jank. Best of 9 versus Falcon when. If he ever comes back to the scene, it'd be fun. Chaos Dwarves. Ooh. Okay, Chaos Dwarves is a little bit rough for Tzeentch. But I might actually have a Tzeentch build here. No. Alright, so he's playing Chaos Dwarves. This is round 4. Crystal Lake should be a good one. So, generally speaking, the strongest thing about Chaos Dwarves is they have Kadai and they have Death Streaks, which are basically Hell Cannons on steroids. They're super good at sniping single entities. So going for the double Exalted Hero is probably a little risky. But I do think I have a way to kill his artillery pieces. And that's gonna be with a little bit of final transmutation action. Pretty sure if I can just get some sick final transmutations, we'll be fine. And you know what? Maybe I'll just rush him. A lot of Chaos Dwarf players. They tend to actually go a bit too hard on the artillery train, and that leaves them a little open to just a full rush. Final Transmutation is really good at abusing blobs too. So this should actually be relatively good, I think. Get that Rock of Inevitability going. Actually, nah. I'm gonna get a single Zongor just to capture points. And then metal shifting, I guess. It's probably better than all of these. Yeah, and then the rest is just gonna be a fairly committed rush, right? Just a little bit of Zongor spam in case he has a lot of ranged. Changebringers can actually be pretty funny here because he can clear up infantry super well. And if he has a Kadai, maybe I'll actually just run the Soul Grinder. Furies are pretty good versus the Fire Glaives. And yeah, this is just your classic Anticity Rush. I don't think I have to overthink this. Hopefully he goes for a bunch of artillery. I would take Searing Doom, but his cavalry's not especially strong here. Searing Doom is better versus armored cav. But if he goes for the Bull Centaurs, I think Final Transmutation is good enough against them. And as long as it doesn't have just a million Fire Glaives, I think I'm fine. Yeah, Flying Taco's back. It's crazy. But alright, I'm feeling pretty confident about this. Usually just the skew max here. It should do well. Ready, good luck, have fun. These chariot guys too should be pretty good versus infantry. Should be good. Also, yeah, Flying Taco has actually been playing. Let me see. I'm gonna scroll up in our chats a ton. Get to my first conversations ever against Flying Taco. My first message with Flying Taco was February 3rd, 2020 at 5:13 p.m. He said, Howard said you wanted a game. So I guess I'm playing a practice match against Flying Taco. Half a decade ago. And then I message him again. Do you have time for some games today? Crazy, man. Absolutely insane. Almost 6 years ago at this point. Leaking DMs. I'm leaking the DMs. But yeah, me and Flying Taco, we go way back. Way before the dark ages of the Warhammer 3 launch. Good times, man. And the crazy thing is, he was playing before I messaged him. I was pretty fresh back in the day. So when I DM'd him, he was probably like, oh man, look at this random up-and-coming player trying to make a name for himself.
Keep it from the foe.
Alright, so there is a death streak. I can definitely fight an Iron Demon with the Exalted dudes. He has Burning Wrath, which is actually fairly underwhelming, all things considered. My lord here, if I full advance, will this miss? Oh! Barely. Barely it gets the miss. Now these guys have a spear icon, but it's not actually. They're not actually a spear unit. Regardless, they can still brace. So you do have to be a little careful about them. But we've opened up. We've opened up his lines ever so slightly. He gets a pretty massive shot on my guys here. But this should be relatively okay. I am shutting down his little artillery piece here. Lamassu's going to be a little annoying because it does stop me from casting. Apparently I am in range of it too. Super annoying. Okay, I need to get an attack animation so that... Dang it, Lamassu, leave me alone! Leave me alone, you piece of crap! Was he just move commanding this thing? Oh my god, what a butt. Okay, so Flying Taco has decided that who needs to attack with the Lamassu? If you just prevent the final transmutation, you're happy. I have a plan though. We're gonna land with this thing. We're gonna force it to land, and that should put us in a relatively, yeah, comfortable position. What are these sick Lamassu plays, man? Alright, finally. Finally! Alright, so we force him to disengage by landing with my guys. And now we're gonna get the 6th final transmutation. Then a full charge here with all the boys. And there we go. Whew, alright. Got the Doom Bolt. I can bully Astrogoth. You can see that immediately puts us in a much better position, as Astrogoth is now quite bullied. His artillery piece has technically rallied, but I don't think there'll be a way to defend it. And then I should be in a decent situation as long as Sartorial does not get killed here. I will say it's mildly sus. But yeah, I should be able to rout off that artillery piece. Just have to be a little wary of the summons. But if I can just get one more final transmutation here, I think we'll be in a good enough situation to potentially win this game. Because I also have a double cap, mind you. And if he loses these guys, it's basically done for, right? Yeah, there we go. Another overcast final transmutation. Man, that's kind of crazy though, how good the Lamassu was at shutting down my big play. We did kill his lord though, finally. Enemy lord has been gloriously killed. Got to pull away from these infernal Iron Sworn. They're gonna bully my infantry if we're not careful. But now I should be able to use my mobility to my advantage. Lamassu is dead. His lord is dead. And as usual, Sartorial cackles, barely surviving the situation. Doombolt went pretty well there. We're calling it Doombolt, even though it's technically not. What's it called? Bolt of Change. There you go. Someone got ripped off on the spell naming department. And then, since I have an infantry advantage, I should be able to charge these Infernal Ironsworn before they get their blasting charges off. Because if they turn to try and shoot at these Ongors, I can pull them back and then charge in with these guys. And that should give them an awkward enough situation where they're just not going to get the shot off. A lot of people have a hard time against, you know, these kind of bomb throwing units. But if you kind of bully them by just attacking from all angles and attacking at off angles, they generally are not the biggest deal in the world. And with them getting surrounded, now we bring in the Changebringers. And now victory is ours, because while Fireborn are pretty scary, with a couple, with a couple Changebringers in here now, there realistically is no way to pull back a value lead, because unfortunately it just doesn't have anti-air. Does summon in a couple skirmishers. They'll maybe be able to get a little bit of work done. But obviously we are a little skeptical here. Maybe he'll get a big shot on Sartorial. If I dodge with him though, he should be okay. And they go with the Changebringers. It should be fine. Gotta be a little careful with them. But yeah, one shot to kill off the Fireglaves. One shot to kill off the Skirmishers. And then they can just camp these Fireborn for the rest of the game. Absolutely no problem. Oh yeah, let's just get him in there. And Sartorial, he barely lives. A little bit of a stressful game. I also got the hunger pains. I'm starving right now. I'm absolutely starving. But yeah, Tzeentch is actually pretty spooky sometimes. And also Chaos Dwarfs get countered by Final Transmutation. They have a lot of SEs that they got to keep alive. So if you use your Final Transmutations effectively, you should be good. Look at them Changebringers. They've already farmed up 1,100 value. One of the fastest value gain units in the entire game. Definitely a game ender. Once you get that early lead, and killing off that little artillery piece helped us out. I just can't believe that he almost won it by silencing Sartorial for the entire match. We had to whip out some pretty crazy shenanigans to actually keep Sartorial from being silenced. Pretty insane tech. I remember now too, Flying Taco is actually famous for rocking the Nakai. Before Nakai was cool. Like, Nakai was pretty garbage back in the day. But he just somehow had a way of squeezing out value with them. Similar situation happened with that Lamassu. He got pretty ludicrous value. Oh my god, I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. Thankfully, this will be a pretty short stream.
Unending glory is yours.
GG. Well played to Flying Taco. And now we move on to the next match while I pour myself a cup of milk. Holy crap, I am starving. I had a bowl of rice with some tomatoes and some Spam. And somehow my body decides that yes, it has to starve to death right now. I'm sweating. I'm actually sweating. My goodness. Emergency food acquired. Flying Taco is going for Ogre Kingdoms. Who would I usually counter ogres with? I'll go with Elves. This is a matchup I actually kind of want to get a feel for. And the map is, yeah, Rift at World's Edge is a fairly even map. All right. It's time. Ogre Kingdoms was his Warhammer 3 main. So we'll see how this goes. Ogres are pretty spooky. They got a mean rush. And they can also do lead belcher shenanigans. Spam-mato rice. The spam-mato rice is hype. Oh my goodness. Milk fresh from the bag. As for milk bags, I don't feel nationalistic most of the time, but milk bags, they get me there. All right, I want to try crazy style against ogres. Think about it. Quad Way Watcher. How could this possibly go wrong? So you go Quad Way Watcher, right? You take a basic Awakening of the Wood branch raid to slow them down. It's a 12-second 45 speed reduction. 45% speed reduction. It's pretty hype. Race to the Frozen Heart to bring them down to 0 speed. And then the rest of my army is just like, oh geez, let's please not die to ogre rushes. So just like a whack load of infantry. Yeah, that should be good. The map's big enough where he can't really full rush me either, right? I feel like this is real good. Alrighty. And if you win this, it's done. Best of 9 over. You sound hyperglycemic. I had a blood test done a little while ago, and everything was good. My blood sugar was a little low, but that was it. So apparently I should be healthy. But I don't know, man. I just get so hungry all of a sudden. So yeah, I'm aware other countries consume milk, even bagged milk. But it's rare enough where I'm pretty happy with how it is. Ready, good luck, have fun. Alright, can we win this matchup? Tapeworm? I don't think so. I have been gaining weight now that I've been eating more. I have been exercising. more lately. So it could be that I've just worked up an appetite and that I'm eating way less than my body is used to. And it's just begging me for calories. So after this stream, I'm just gonna go stuff my face and I should be good to go. Maybe you're pregnant, maybe. Yo, my mom talking about the random stuff she ate when she was pregnant with me. Apparently she really liked raw fish, which is funny because I love sashimi now. But yeah, she really liked raw fish while she was pregnant, even though before she hated it. And she didn't know how to cook it because of that too. So my poor dad, he just saw my mom throw a fish into an oven, get way too hungry, and then took it out of the oven before it was done and just ate it, mostly raw. And this is not like sashimi. This is like you just tossed a whole fish in the oven. Apparently my dad wanted to puke after seeing that. My mom's just like, why am I eating this? Why do I have such an insane craving for this random fish? And yeah, that was me. That was little old me. Anyways. Pretty chunky line here. He actually has a scrap launcher. Pretty insane. A little bit of anti-kite tech here. A little bit overkill. Just volleying those Gnoblars, but I don't want to be spotted by the ogres. That could be rather painful. So this is a Twilight though, at least they should be able to bully the lead belchers. And the plan is to try and get them into my spawn zone. If I can do that, I should be relatively okay. We've managed to route the or to rampage the saber tusks, so that's a fairly good sign for us. That'll cause my opponent to overextend just a little bit. And the race of the Frozen Heart, they should be able to cook pretty well here. They got that slow. That'll work out real well for them. Weight Watcher volleys, by the way. Super important that you volley fire. If you don't volley fire with your Weight Watchers, they don't get the shock damage that you need to actually rout off units. And a lot of shots can be wasted just because units are moving around and such. Something very important to note that makes this playstyle a lot more difficult. But so far, I'd say this is going quite well for us. We routed off the Blood Vultures. The Weight Watchers have been able to spend their ammunition. Maybe I can breath attack them Sky Striders and rout off all of these dudes. Overall, not a terrible position. It looks like Flying Taco wants to post up though. Looks like he wants to post up to try and defend his lead belchers. So I'm not going to overextend and go for a big rush, because potentially that puts us in a bad place. That slow though will make it easier to get some Weight Watcher volleys on his Sky Striders at least. It's gonna force him to disengage. And then if I can kill the lead belchers, then my Weight Watchers will stop being carried. Overall, I'd say it's an okay position. The lead belchers are definitely problematic, but they are now finally out of the question. I'm actually really surprised that these dryads held up too, by the way. And overall, value-wise, it's fairly even. That would be a lot more sketchy if my opponent managed to... Yeah, it'd be a lot more sketchy if they actually managed to shut down the Way Watchers. But because my range are alive and his range are mostly dead, I'd say this is a good position for us. So just gonna blitz down those Noblars over there. Gonna push forwards, get the capture point. Lead Belchers are very nearly out of the picture. And now that I'm actually controlling space, capture point should be relatively quick to follow. I might even be able to contest multiple capture points if all goes well. That slow is going to bully the Saber Tusk packs pretty hard too, because then I get the Way Watcher volley and then a massive cav charge. That was actually sick. You see that? Instant Saber Tusk pack deletion. And now he's kind of going for the final play. He's going for one big last push to try and get on top of these Way Watchers. With all my cavalry nearby, I should be able to defend them fairly well. Routed off some ogres over there. That'll make the blood vultures kind of sussed out. There we go. Dragon Lord is helping. And we're gonna turn off Fire at Will. If these blood vultures don't go for my cav, yeah, then I should be able to get a pretty vicious volley here. Dang it. He got the charge off. Charge changes the speed of your units. And it makes it so that a lot of your arrows can hit. Very sketchy trying to get our optimal volleys off. Also very important to note, these Sky Striders are still alive. And if they do catch my Way Watchers here, that would be oh so unfortunate. They also got a pretty nifty heal. But if I catch them out here, I think we'll be fine. And yeah, I should be able to make it relatively hard for them to escape. I got the slow on them. We got all our Way Watchers. We got an anti-large cav here. Sisters of Twilight can probably bully his Lord too. And yeah, the Sky Striders are just a little bit rough. They're getting roughed up pretty bad by my archers. Ooh, kind of a misplay though. Actually let some of my archers get caught up. So Way Watchers actually will be suffering ever so slightly. I did rout off the super expensive Sky Striders though. But yeah. Maybe a little sus if I lose a Way Watchers. Seems like my Wild Riders are enough though to deal with that. Yeah, Sky Striders are just absolutely getting oblivioned here. And even though this matchup is a little sus, I think with that unit routing off now, life should be fairly comfortable. Probably won't be able to chase them off in full or anything. But having them route off for so long, that means that they won't really be able to participate in the fight for a bit while they're busy rallying back to the battle. So that'll be at least a little convenient. Plus I can slow them down a little bit. And really it is just the longer that unit is not participating in the fight, the better it is for us. And remember, I do still have a lot of Way Watchers here. We should be able to kill off those Saber Tusks. If I can kill off his lord here, that would be amazing too. And I don't think he really has enough here to clean us up. He will be trying to re-secure a point though. And okay, yeah, the Sky Striders actually came back. So maybe this is actually a little bit more sus. Yeah, this is maybe slightly more sus than I would have hoped for. He's not going to be able to secure this point, but he does rout off my lord. That's actually really awkward. And yeah, maybe I overextended here. Okay, wait. Am I about to witness why this matchup is bad for the Wood Elves? He actually routed off my lord. Sky Striders are alive. And my trading is kind of going down the drain right now. I actually killed her too. With the Sky Striders. Okay. Alright, mildly rough. What is sus? What does that mean? What, were you not alive during the pandemic? It's from a game that was played a lot in the pandemic. But yeah, it stands for suspicious. Now this is generally pretty bad. Flying Taco here will most likely be able to start securing points. But the rush for points might put them in a bad enough situation for me to begin up trading again. Because if you just look at what's actually here, there isn't that much, right? The scariest thing are the Sky Striders. And maybe the scrap launcher that's just kind of chilling here. But it will take a little while to actually get value. Plus my Wild Riders over here are just dumpstering that Saber Tusk pack unit. They should be able to fight off the other Saber Tusk too. And when it comes to capture points, Flying Taco is actually starting to fall a little bit behind. So if I can use my cavalry to clear off this area, maybe we actually win this still? I had a really good start, but I don't really know how this late game is going to play out. This is kind of foreign to me. Good chase off on the flank though. Middle point's looking decent. We are distracting the Sky Striders, so he's actually still hasn't captured this point. Noblars just have some of the worst capture speeds known to man. So if I keep contesting this point, I think we can make, yeah, I think if we keep contesting it, I can punish my opponent for maybe having too many elite units. Though middle point is starting to get captured now. Poor Dryads, they simply weren't enough to actually get that position. But I've distracted the Sky Striders for a long time. Pickback Riders don't have the best capture weight either. So at least that'll go pretty decently for me. Yeah, and if I can contest this or capture it, I think maybe we're still okay. I will have some pretty elite cav, but losing this pocket may just be the end times for me. Kind of have to rout off these Pigback Riders too. If I capture this point, it would be a miracle. That might actually save it for me. But the Pigback Riders, I think they're barely going to hold. Okay, they do rout, but... yeah, Flying Taco does get that point. And now I think it's pretty over, right? Dang, that's crazy. This matchup is really bad for Wood Elves. I think he kept his Sky Striders super safe. Flying Taco is really good at babysitting units. But dang, even after such a crazy early game. Dang, all right. And he takes the game. This is intentionally kind of supposed to be a bad matchup, though. Kind of wanted to try it out, but now I know we are not playing Wood Elves against Ogres in the grand finals. Dang, that was crazy, though. I feel like I had a really good kite. But anyways, we'll move on to the next match real quick. We're going to play some Coast, and he just needs 5 minutes. All right. Yeah, rip the 5-0. At least we know for sure I'm just not going to play this matchup. Absolutely, this is a 10,000% chance that we ban it. Ogres are just such a menace. The Dryads didn't really kill them as well as I could have hoped. But yeah. Vampire Coast here should be a pretty strong faction. He shouldn't have too much that can actually fight Coast at this point. Would be fun to face up against Greenskins, but we shall see, we shall see. Feel like Ogres got shafted on the range department. Their lead belchers really help them out. So if the opponent doesn't have something that kills lead belchers, you dumpster other factions in ranged. And that's almost what we saw there. The lead belchers forced me forwards. Anyways, if I just didn't take so much damage on my Way Watchers, I would have won. That one Saber Tusk pack dive at the end game when I was getting too comfy, it made it where I just couldn't kill his Sky Striders anymore. That's my B. But yeah, the problem here is you don't have artillery to bully lead belchers. Their range is actually quite comparable to Way Watchers. Way Watchers are 119. Lead belchers are 200. So they actually outrange Way Watchers. So if you just rush and you get vision of the Way Watchers and then shoot them up with lead belchers, you kind of just win. You can also dodge the Way Watcher shots at max range, whereas lead belcher shots you can't really dodge. So yeah, Ogres are pretty happy. At least I feel reassured now, thinking that this sucks. Yeah, attack speed and joy are... yeah. Even if I play my kite super well, it takes one misplay from me and then the game is lost. Like, I got so many Saber Tusk picks, I thought it was pretty over. But they just keep coming. And you definitely can't rush the Ogres down unless you have a ludicrous amount of cav. But like, the bull spam is really hard to kill off. I think it's winnable for Wood Elves. Like, if you really play perfectly, I think you can probably make do with the Way Watcher kite. But most of the time, no. This build, though. This build should be good. We got the Silostra, we got the Peasant spam. I mean, the Deckhand spam. Also, yes, Lead Belcher range attacks count as artillery. So they also give a leadership debuff. The hit by artillery leadership debuff. It's pretty menacing. Fun fact, you can also stack that with the hit by a range unit debuff. So as Ogres, if you mix in a couple trappers or something with your lead belchers, I'm pretty sure you can rout off units faster. Maybe take Arrows of Kurnos on a Waystalker or Eagle Quiver. So I've looked into that against lead belchers. It doesn't help enough. The damage is too low, and if they summon a second lead belcher, you're just screwed. Like, you can kill 1/3 of a lead belcher, and it's still a menace. And then, yeah, your arrows of Kurnos, it's just not enough. It's not fast enough to kill them all. Sisters of Twilight are okay there. Like, you saw them kind of poking away. But yeah, it wasn't great. Alright, so he's going Tzeentch. Now, I don't think I need the cannons here. I think this should be quite fun. Because it'll really test if we can just sit and grind forever. If he goes for armor, they should not be too good. I forget. How do you spend your money here on this building? You know, maybe I do take the 2 cannons, just park them on the left side. Then again, he can snipe them with blue fire. If he's playing Tzeentch, I could take the Lamprey's Revenge, but they can be risky. If he has a good enough counter, you're kind of screwed. They're probably better than the Moringulls, though, right? Alright, sure. Sure, why not? So I'll take the double crab. Silostra is not going to run Kiss of the Deep. Not very useful. But I guess I'll just slap some chevrons on this bad boy. Take a couple handguns. I guess the bloats are going to be less useful here, but maybe I still run them. But the name of the game is simple. Stall my opponent into infinity. Stall them into infinity. Because in theory, it should take way too long to actually clear all of this garbage. Spam the dogs to kill his blues and pinks. Should be fairly simple. And maybe Flying Taco has some crazy stuff. He won't expect the bloats. Well, you can just see them. Unless you're using them to defend artillery, them walking up just takes forever. Honestly, if they had a slight movement speed increase, they would kind of be crazy. But yeah, let's see how this goes. No one expects Bess. Yeah, because it sucks. I don't like Bess anymore. It's too easily dodged. Also, memeing against Flying Taco is not that BM, specifically because he memes a lot too. The only difference is that Flying Taco is actually really good at memeing. Like, he could take some crazy stuff and make it work. For me, though, I don't really know how to make Bess do exceptionally. But yeah, very straightforward build here. Pistol mob march underway. Silostra's amazing. You do the interweaving of your zombie deckhands, and they'll have a dandy old time. Look at that gloriousness. Ready, good luck, have fun. Yeah, Bess only works if your opponent has bad micro. Now he does have pink fire. Thankfully, all my stuff is so cheap. It doesn't really matter if he pink fires them. He's actually gone for quite the main tide himself. Rather interesting. But that should expose some opportunities for my dogs to do well. So I'm gonna wait for him to summon something. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for him to summon something. And then use the dogs wherever he doesn't summon. To potentially overwhelm his range units. Because he does have a few here that I kind of have to be at least a little wary against. Yeah, so you see those screamers there? It's time. The dog march is here. Dog should be pretty good there. Pistol mobs want to be resummoned. It might still be a bad play to actually just YOLO them like this. But we'll see. Oh, look at that. Look at that slip through with the dogs. And then we just spread them out. They should be able to kill these guys. A couple Zongors should not be a huge deal. I'll just slowly start wearing down those Forsaken. Dogs here are actually not doing super great. Getting caught by that many Zongors was definitely a misplay. At the very least, Slaanesh was doing pretty well. And Screamers suck, so I guess that's fairly comfortable. You have to be a little careful with Slaanesh, right? But it seems like this right flank is going pretty good for us. Left flank is winning, even if it is a little slow. And nice, look at that Zongor route. No, there's a Marauders. No wonder they're dying so hard.
You have the foe's victory.
Nice. That's actually a pretty solid double cap that we got going. I'll just leave the dogs over there. On the far side, we'll de-blob it a little bit. He's obviously going for the Slaanesh Knight, but as the theory goes, we don't care if Slaanesh dies. And now the super annoying part, when I just start spamming pistols, they should be able to do rather well here, I think. We'll see if I was maybe too aggressive with them at the beginning. But it does certainly give me a unit to bring onto the battlefield. Hopefully we can kill off these pinks too. If I can get them to start crumbling, that'd be perfect. Slaanesh does have some spells that'll help out with that. Yeah, there we go. Flank points are going pretty good. We've got some crumbling over there. We got pistol mobs for days. Slaanesh was chilling. And this is where the Vampire Coast starts cooking, right? Flying Taco has a lot of lines here that he's got to defend. But can he actually defend it? Can he actually recapture a little bit of territory? Because the undead, they march. Most of his infantry is already summoned on in. I guess he probably kills Slaanesh though. But this high ground should be fairly good for me. And the pistol mobs, for the price of one pistol mob, I killed off a Forsaken. So I'm pretty happy about that trade. And I can probably start saving up for Slaanesh. But before we do that, the much more important thing is the doggy cleanup crew. So usually the problem with coasts when they're grinding is that eventually you're gonna have a bunch of these kind of softened up units that are just running around while most of your guys are crumbling to death. That's usually a pretty uncomfortable position to be in. But when you bring in the dogs to solve everything, then you have much less of a problem because they are really good at cleaning up spare infantry. They should do absolutely great. These Chaos Knights, though, are probably going to be a little bit of a menace. Not a whole lot I can do there. But I think once we have the Lamprey's Revenge in the business, I think we'll be goodies. So let's actually get the third doggy cleanup. Flying Taco will probably be able to secure this point soon, as this fight's actually going rather well for them. I can't bait out a bloated corpse either, but I can give some Flying Taco some hard units to actually kill. And of course, we'll have Silostra back soon enough. I should be okay, especially with the value trading the way it is right now. It means we're probably in an okay position. So there's Silostra, she's back. Marauders are getting bullied. He does get some pretty spooky Centaurs of Tzeentch though. With the Fury support, I probably can't take this fight without Halberds. So I'll have to be wary of that. As long as you run away with these guys though, I'll be fine. And the Lamprey's Revenge should be a relatively difficult unit for Flying Taco to actually catch here.
One of your units has been
Now let's see how this fight goes. I do have Halberd, so maybe we actually win that fairly well. All this infantry here, by the way, is super beat up. But I do have to kill some Chaos Knights. I don't look forward to that. Chaos Knights are actually going to be rather annoying to actually deal with here. At the very least, the Centaurs will go down. Plus, I have Lamprey's Revenge. So I think we'll probably be fine. And then more pistol mob summons. I believe we'll get there. A little bit of a big doggy loss at the end of the day, but I do have a Ghost of the Past summon. Could use that to potentially catch out some of those Chaos Knights. We'll see though. This position is a bit of a strange one. As long as the Lamprey's Revenge live though, right? Yeah, I think that's the crux of it. If the Lamprey's Revenge live, I believe there's not a whole lot Flying Taco can do. The dogs are actually trading pretty well versus Centaurs of Tzeentch also. I'm starting to capture the back point. Yeah, I'd say I am in a comfortable position, but not exactly like a dominating position just yet. That's a good route though. So Lost was doing pretty good. Pistols will take forever for these guys to actually deal with. Don't know if this is actually dodgeable by the Lamprey's Revenge. That's actually a really good catch. Mildly unfortunate, as the Lamprey's Revenge were kind of supposed to be my big carry unit. Now they're getting charged by the Centaurs. Not the most comfortable, but if I just keep spamming dudes here, I don't think he can clear me out super well, right? I just have to make sure Silostra don't die. And you could potentially kill Silostra quite fast with his Lord here. So I'm just gonna send her over here to maybe catch those Chaos Knights. Dang, Lamprey's Revenge is dead though. That actually makes it a little sus. This will do though. So Silostra is gonna be able to catch a knight. I can slow them down. And we have zombies on this point. I should be able to secure this one soon. I have zombies for days. Yeah, if I just keep up the zombie spam, I should be relatively okay. The question is, do I want to also summon dogs? Maybe in a second after we've captured some points. The double Forsaken here is actually really annoying. I don't really have a great answer to those guys. Okay, mildly sus. I'd say Tzeentch is generally pretty good versus Coast, but Yeah, we're gonna need to get Silostra in here for the capture weight. Thankfully, she didn't really die, and we did catch these guys out fairly well, I'd say. What I really need, though, are dogs. I need just that tiny bit of mobility to get onto points. And that should be enough for us to win here. We did rout off his knights finally, too. Very, very important. But in capturing this point, I have lost Silostra, possibly. Point's actually super close. Come on. Okay, there we go. So we got the point. That's going to help us out a lot, actually, because we're kind of heading into a late game here. I think it's worth losing Silostra for that point. Like, technically, you get the lore died recently debuff. But we're undead. They were crumbling anyways. And now it's going to take them a while to actually recapture this. So I think we're fine. Though the middle point is actually going to be a little sus. Gonna need to bring in the dogs and whatnot. And then I'm going to have to start hunkering down. There's a lot of marauders here. I'll give them that. Hopefully not too much magic left. If I can just secure this in any decent amount of time, we're good. Not exactly. Not exactly. That's not good. But these Chaos Knights, man. Flying Taco's micro is crazy. Kept them alive for so long, and now he's chaff spamming. So the only way I can capture this is by spamming the dogs here. Now, thankfully, there's a lot of marauders. So it should, in theory, be at least a little awkward actually getting here. I should be able to secure it. And if I spam pistol mobs, they should be able to do all right. And there we go. Point is captured. The doggy charges. They're doing okay. It's a little sus. Oh my god, there's so much chaff, bro. There's so much chaff. I might have to go for this point. The thing is, though, I don't know if I can actually hold. I don't know if we can actually hold for 5 minutes to actually be able to win the game. But we're gonna try it. Unfortunately, this is far gone, which means I'm going to lose all my infantry. The only way we win now is by going here. I probably should have just spammed more rotting Prometheans. I think Flying Taco's build was actually quite vulnerable to a massive swarm of rotting Prometheans. And it was quite strong against my Mantide spam. But we'll see. Technically, this point's still being held. Those zombies are doing pretty good. And as long as there's no units here anytime soon, yeah, we might actually be able to secure this. Dude, those blues, though, are not taking damage. I'm just going to force path my way through and maybe get a lot of hits off. Yeah, not the worst. And we'll have Mourngulls here soon. Surely the Mourngull Tide will hard carry. Okay, there you go. Oh boy, the Forsaken, though. The Forsaken are a mild issue. There go the Furies. Oh, I'm not even getting that point, am I? Yeah, I think we're screwed. I should have just crab spammed. He didn't have a lot to deal with mass crabs. GG, well played. Dang. Flying Taco punching back. I do think that is pretty good for Tzeentch, though. I'll have to be careful taking coast into Tzeentch. Seems like my coast probably needs a little bit of work to be safe against a lot of these factions. And I gotta start mixing up the playstyles, right? Yeah, my mind was hard set on the chaff spam. But chaff spam is not what I needed to win. I needed to just get this third Promethean in. And we would have clutched it. Only a couple dogs for cleanup and we're good. But yeah, the Forsaken, bro. Technically, I would have won if I only took crabs, but that's obviously risky. Which means he's picking the next match. Flying Taco, the reverse sweep. He's extending the stream. He's delaying my dinner. Me getting food gets further and further away. Thankfully, the glass of milk kind of saved me. Alright, and he wants to go Beastmen. Dinner delay tactics to make my play worse. Pro strat. I start falling off the further in we get. Okay, so he wants to play Beastmen. Okay. Empire is pretty good versus Beastmen. This matchup I feel fairly comfortable. As far as I can tell, if there's one thing that Beastmen is extraordinarily bad at against, it's against the Dread Empire Mantide. So if I just spam as many archers as humanly possible, go real simple, and take a 450 Gelt as my caster, then suddenly Beastmen are not exactly the end of the world. Yeah, so I'll just load out with Outriders. I can't believe I still have money though. Maybe I do go for Boris then. Boris is just good in general. You can't really go wrong with him. That'll save me a little bit of money. Then we'll go for a Burning Headcaster. Take him on foot, of course. Then I have just enough money to take, yeah, 2 Free Company Militia. And a... Okay, wait, how do I spend my money? 15 hundo. An Empire Knight and a Huntsman? Yeah. Alright, and then we spam Free Company. We got the Empire Knights. I got Outriders in case he decides to play passive. I've actually maxed out on the range units, but 1 Outrider is going to be more than enough. We have an absurd amount of infantry. And in theory, he should not be able to push into this. This is a ludicrous amount of infantry. And no amount of stall strategies should save him either. It's a matchup I've played a couple times. The map is okay for this. If I lose, then life is crazy. Hellstorm? Nah. Mantide, man. Mantide for life. Beastmen are really bad versus Mantide. Because they usually need their overwhelming numbers to run you over. But if you have more overwhelming numbers, you just win. And if he goes elite, he just gets shot to death, so. I'm feeling pretty good here. Yeah, it's just a whole bunch of dudes. Day 1 campaign build. Yeah, aside from the Knights of the Black Rose, this is all tier 1 and 2. Trust me though. Trust me, this is super clutch. I just have too many range units for him to shut down with Centaurs. Like, Beastmen Cavalry is just too expensive. The archers will feast, absolutely. Go and fight those butchers of Kalkengard. Man, I promise they're not as scary as they seem. Okay, yeah, butchers of Kalkengard will be a little bit of an issue unless I get my archers on them. Flying Taco has shown that he's really good at babysitting elite units, something that I'm actually quite bad at. So who knows? Maybe he wins, but like this, if I lose this matchup, that's gonna shake up how I play the tournament. All right, so nice and simple. Nice and ultra simple here, right? Formations do not matter to me. I just gotta get here, draw a line with the spearmen, and just turn this into a choke point of the gods. As soon as that happens, he's gonna have to push over here to actually get any ground. And then victory shall be ours, because he's playing on my side of the map and I can just shoot him with Huntsman. Nice and simple, presumably. Yeah, and then like we get to play on my half of the map. Like I'm just gonna play around this area. He has 12 units. I can Vanguard Free Company Militia here to support this fight. What's not to love? And then we'll use Outriders to poke him if he's playing real careful. Num num, Flock of Doom probably. If you hit 3 Spearmen, it's like you Flock of Doomed 1 Greatsword. Nobody's drooling over Flock of Doom on 1 Greatsword. The actual gold density is still really low, even though you technically hit a lot of units. It's a common misconception that hitting more units is better. You're always trying to get value. Now that'll be pretty good. High ground secured. Then we just draw another line, because Beastmen, they don't have wind spells. So if we just do that, I should be pretty okay. We are seeing a lot of Gore Herd. He actually has Bestigors. Some Corn Gores too, alright. Now this feels like a fairly comfortable position. To just run a little bit of yeah, get a little bit of Outrider poke going. I'm gonna be able to get just a wee bit of damage over there. Free Company will be pretty nice. I guess he does have Morgar, but I have nothing that's really worth using his little summon on. He does have a Pendulum. Do have to be a little careful about that. But this should be pretty good. I'm just gonna really overload the high ground. Because he really doesn't have too many units here. There we go, looking pretty good here. Just gotta make sure the Huntsman stays safe, but we actually terror out. Actually get pretty sick terror out over there. On them harpies, that's nice. Very good. All right. Now he's kind of forced to push in here. It's a pretty good pendulum, but actually friendly fires ever so slightly. A little bit of a sketchy play there. I should be able to get a pretty good burn and head down the pipe over there too. And if I can just overwhelm these Corn Gores with a ludicrous amount of shooting, I should be relatively okay. We have no need for cav. Only an endless number of Free Company Militia. He did catch my Outriders though. Minimus play. But there you go. That's gonna rout them. Boris, very good for getting the routes. And the Free Company militia. They should just be able to get a pretty nice crossfire here. Unless the Korngors are just ultra stacked. I believe we'll be okay there. Holy crap, the middle's actually just completely collapsing. Okay, yeah, the Gore Herd were a little bit of a problem. Thankfully, we can retreat with our archers. We did rout off his caster. That's pretty nice. I don't really have the opportunity to chase him, though. As, yeah, Boris kind of has better things to do. Actually, almost burning headed my own guys there. That would have been real bad. And Tuskor chariots are pretty spicy. Flying Taco does have that sick Tuskor chariot micro. Also a Manticore summon apparently. Yeah, that's not too great. It's another spawn summon over there. Oh my goodness. Okay, I should be able to rout off these Razor Gore Herd though. If there's one fight I want to win, it's this right flank. I feel like this right flank should be very winnable for me. We still also have our Outriders here. He's fighting in my backfield. As soon as a spawn disappear, it's gonna look a lot better. Come on, Boris. Just rout off those fools. Okay, yeah. Yeah, this ain't as bad as one might think. We have a pretty solid backline situation playing out right now. Right, this little pocket that we got going on here with all the Free Company, the dishing out pain. A couple harpies here are not going to be an issue. And then I can bring in the Outriders, kind of value trade. And the value trading should actually go pretty well for us soon enough. Kind of took a little bit of damage there on my caster, but should be totally fine. And yeah, look at that. Even more Free Company militia are here. That's a pretty nasty pendulum. But we managed to dodge the worst of it, I think. And Centaurs we can definitely kill. Plus the Outriders can kill the Tuskor chariots. And I have a pretty decent amount of time here. I think we'll be relatively okay. It's not going to be the best situation you've ever seen. But I'll settle for relatively okay. Because look at that. Pestigors get routed off. I should be able to take the high ground. He does get the low ground, but... yeah, Tuskor chariots are actually done for now. How wondrous. And yeah, as long as I get my home point in a decent amount of time, I think we're okay. Caster did get routed off. Gore Herd are gone over there. It's not great, but it could certainly be a lot worse. And we're gonna get a sick burning head. So that's gonna help rout off a bunch of fools over there. Look at that. Outriders are cooking. Beastmen are cooking. He had another spawn summon. He only used one so far. Oh my god. All right. So that makes things a little bit more sus. But if I save up for my knights here, my Knights of the Black Rose, I think we'll still be okay. There's the first capture point. Big route over on the far side. All right. And yeah, I think the Beastmen are starting to actually falter right now. It took a little bit of work. Got a little bit sus. But at this point in the battle, it's actually not as bad as one might expect. Because those spawn are going to disappear. We're going to recapture the home point. And with all my spears and cavalry barreling on in, with the support of Boris, there's no way, right? There's no way the Beastmen are able to actually hammer through. He might capture the point though, which would make things a little bit more on the sketchy side. He might have summoned those guys a bit too early. That gore herd could actually get a little bit of work in. Pestigores here are not exactly great for me either. What do I need? Do I need free company? Do I need a huntsman? Actually, huntsman here could do really well. I just need a route. Just give me one big route here on the Beastmen side and we're okay. Because we're about to capture the home point. Nice. And we got more guys here, all right. Boris is chatting it out. I still have Outriders, thankfully. And yeah, even a slight range advantage here. That'll make a huge difference. Because range units can farm value like no one's business. There's no world where he actually kills Boris here, by the way. Not with that Manticore. If Boris dies here, my entire worldview is completely shattered. I swear, if Boris dies here, I'm gonna puke. He kind of has to, yeah, he kind of has to hunker down here and just live. It's just a Manticore, bro. It's just a Manticore. I swear, if you route. Looks like he'll be doing okay, though. His leadership is still relatively high. And he can probably route off these Centaurs. Now, there is a little bit of a Cav summon on the far side. I can bring in the boys, though, to hopefully settle that situation. It's just simply not enough cavalry here to really do so well. Ungor herd are not going to do well versus my Empire Knights here. And Boris, although he gets a little bit low, he does thankfully take back up into the sky. Which means all I gotta do now is think about the late game. That's all we gotta do. If I can just secure the late game situation, victory is ours. I do have to hold a triple cap, so that means not losing this point, which I assure you Flying Taco is absolutely saving up for. But the massive amount of fire that we got going on here, that's gonna do pretty well. The basic Ungors, they're taking a little bit of damage. They're holding a little better than I thought they would. A little unfortunate, but that point will go to me. And I think this is where the final fight will happen. Because the high ground's starting to get a little too sus. Oh my god, the wizard's back. What a Chad. Absolute Chad mode wizard. There we go. All right, and the fight's going pretty well over here. So I just need a little bit of cav over there, right? And then we're good. The archers are in. And if we can kill Morker, we're rolling. Rolling in the dough. Come on, you darn cav. Come on, hold. Morker's gonna suffer pretty hard though. Versus a whole Boris. He's probably gonna spam infantry here. Should be able to deal with that. A little bit of bullying. And then even if he does secure this point, it's gonna take a while, right? It's gonna take some time to actually get the sick value plays. I did route off the Corn Gores right before they got their sick passive too. So no invulnerability there. Those are some very committed Centaurs too. Morgur's not gonna die though. I don't think it's actually worth it to try and deal with Morgur. I think we're just gonna go for this point. Well, if he does die, it's basically game over, right? So maybe I do. I don't know. First things first, so we de-summon these guys. Get him out of there because I need some proper cavalry. Gonna go for the Empire Knights. They should be able to do quite well. He's actually capturing this point real slowly because he only has cav there. So resecuring it should at least be Relatively chill. I just have to make sure that there's no like rogue cav summon here that just wrecks me. It looks like the harpies are having a bit of a hard time. And then I think I don't have time to really dilly-dally. We kind of have to bring in just cavalry at this point. But thankfully, the Bright Wizard is still alive. Boris should be able to rout off a couple harpies. That's not a big deal. Morgor unfortunately rallies, but it's not the end of the world. And with cavalry coming in hot, I believe we may have a chance. Bit of a slim chance, all things considered. But I do have another cav unit here. Gotta remember the spears, they actually have pretty decent capture rate. Just have to make sure this high ground point doesn't get stolen. I have to keep a close eye on what's actually being summoned in here. Of course, Morgor will be a bit of a pain, but I still have 2 minutes. But yeah, you see how Flying Taco is actually saving up resources right now? I kind of have to reactively summon in units. Otherwise, we may be screwed here. Okay, he summons on the low ground. That means I need some mobility. Hopefully we can land Boris here. Outrider should do well. I still have about 2 minutes. Mind you. We still have roughly 2 minutes. Boris is going to be saved by the cavalry charge. He should be able to kill off a manticore too. Which means no more sources of terror or whatnot. And I'm not going to rush on the point. There's no point rushing onto the point when you can go for some big value plays. Because if I start losing out on value, he's just going to retake the point shortly after. And that's just a losing position. Ain't nobody wants that. So we're just going to start dogpiling now. Value trading's been pretty good. And now he's highly incentivized to try and go for the high ground. Thankfully, we are able to secure it. With only a little bit of time to spare. But the point is now ours. Manticore is gone, and I have great swords here. This is about as good as it gets. Burning head to rout off those Centaurs. And now what does my opponent have? Honestly, not much. As long as we control this high ground, I think we're pretty happy. I do have a rather ludicrous number of free company and units here that can actually hunker down there. So that's pretty good. Burning head actually clips some of those gore herd. Love to see that. And Boris is just going to be a value train for the rest of the battle. Plus we have free company. Boys. I think we did it. The Empire Mantide. Ah, yeah. Terrifying game. This was a terrifying game. But I had just barely enough. I think my low ground play was really sketchy. He kind of just rushed straight through with the Bestigor squad. But the slow comeback. The massive, absolutely infantry speed comeback is gonna win it for us. With 40 seconds to spare, the free company militia tide is just a little bit too much. Flying Taco, he said he missed out on the Boris snipe. Yeah. If he sniped Boris, it would have been game over. But we did it. Woo. Yeah, not a matchup I'd be dying to take in a tournament, but at least one that's playable in the worst case scenario. The Empire endures indeed. Holy crap. That was sweaty. That was sweaty. Look at the valley though on the range units. Pretty good. At least on the ones that survived. Spear lines did not bad. They kind of just held for a really long time. My Burning Heads could have been a little bit better, but Boris. Holy crap, Boris. The hard carry on this man. The 3k value on a melee lord. Now that's spice. Cavalry did great. Outriders were amazing. I honestly could have won if I had a second Outrider. But you can't prepare for anything. And the Free Company Militia did great. Great Swords won the far point. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Spearmen with 126 kills. Holy crap. Oh, nice. Woo. Spicy. Flying Taco. I think if he keeps playing more games, he's going to become a terrifying player. His micro with expensive units is absurd. He's so good at babysitting units. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Very, very strong player. Happy to have him back. Boris, he took my freaking eye. Boris's vengeance on the Beastmen is hilarious. But yeah, that's crazy. Flying Taco, taking 2 wins, even you know, even being a little rusty and not caught up with the meta. He could very well become a top tier player again if given time. But yeah, it was fun. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Tomorrow, I'm taking the day off of streaming so I can record a video on my own time. It's going to be the Silostra Ghosts only run. Should be pretty spooky. So keep an eye out for that video. And of course, thank you very much to our supporters. It's because of you guys that I can comfortably continue to stream Warhammer without having to bail out and play another game. You guys are great. Twitch, you make up about 10% of my income worth of donations. Actually, no, I think you make more. I think Twitch is like, what, 20%? And then the YouTube donations, I think it also makes up like 20%. I think Twitch in total is 20%. And then YouTube donations is like another 20%. So you guys are great. Special thanks to our top tier supporters. Clint, Terry Tarkleby, Pops, Miss New Booty, Thomas, Vitek, Calculandia, Stevens Warden, Charlie Benjo, Noble Naldor, and Ogendorner. Thank you very much one last time. And I'll see you guys on Monday for some hardcore tournament training streams. Should be good. See you later.